You're in the Business Insurance Zone with me, Steve Savant, national financial columnist and color commentator. This week on The Biz, our monthly update series for January 2013. And on today's show, our annuity update with special guest Eric Palmer, nationally recognized annuity expert.
When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.
Well, Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to The Biz. And of course, I'm Steve Savant, your host, and we're broadcasting live from to a nationwide audience of financial professionals right here in Fountain Hills, Arizona, home of America's largest fountain. And with me today, Happy New Year himself, Eric Palmer. Hey, Eric.
Hey, glad to be here.
Well, Eric, not that we want to get into it, but hey, it is a new year. We're in a full week now of work. Let's just talk about it. I mean, we know that the annuity low interest rate environment is making players out of some people and pretenders. Some guys are just fleeing the market.
Right.
And we're going to get into that a lot more on the life side later on in the week on Thursday. But I know that there is some really good movement. But let's talk about the one that I think that's blowing my mind, which is the new, the whole industry is contracting, and Aviva bought by Athene.
Right.
I'm sorry. What did I miss? What did I miss?
Well, we saw this emergence in 2012 of these large financial firms like Guggenheim, Apollo, entering into the marketplace and starting to purchase these insurance companies. And you see a lot of B double plus carriers that have been purchased, but they're growing in size and they're growing rapidly. So Apollo, they have a very large appetite for the annuity space with their purchase of RBC earlier, about a little over a year ago, and now the purchase of Aviva. I think they're going to be someone that's pretty serious and pretty dedicated to the annuity place. So it's interesting that these firms that we never would have thought about, Apollo, Guggenheim, we never, those aren't common names for us. They're going to be major players, and we should really look out for them in 2013.
Well, let's just stop right there and talk about Athene, because really Athene has been emerging as a major annuity player, not only for the independent marketing organization distribution center. I mean, they're starting to spread their net here.
Right. Well, and it's interesting, they're actually developing real quality product as well. I think one of the things that we've seen in the past is you see insurance companies get purchased and then the block of a business will close. So they'll maintain the existing clients, but there's nothing new that comes out the chute. Well, Athene's got a different view on things. They want to be a major player, and so over the next 5 years, you're going to see them develop new products. One that we'll talk about in the second half of this show today will show you that they are dedicated to continuing to grow in the space and become a bigger company. What's going to happen with the ratings, I don't know, but when you look at their B double plus, I'd say the second thing to do is to look at the financials. What's the B double plus really mean? Do they have a good risk-based capital? Are they strong in terms of cash on hand? And if they are, then that rating shouldn't be such a big deal, and you should still offer those products up to your clients.
Well, we're coming into a whole new wave of understanding on balance sheets. When we look at it and strip away ratings, I like to submit it to CPAs and really high-end accountants that actually understand insurance balance sheets. The convention filing blank, the convention blank that we file in every state, has really good information to it. And what we do is a lot of times we look at some of our vendors who distill down this information, we measure it, and then we send it off to fiduciaries who actually do this for a living. Right. And I say, hey, are you comfortable with this kind of number? Because it's surprising that you take a company like Athene, who is now kind of like in major acquisition mode. I mean, when you think about it, these are two big buys.
Right, absolutely.
So, and they have become a player in the annuity market. And again, we're going to get to that. But what else is going on? What about, and I hate to say this, I mean, here we are, brand new year, I'm trying to be happy, but we're still in a low interest rate environment. I don't see that really changing, but I hear rumors that the caps might be going up.
Well, I think we're going to see subtle changes. I don't know necessarily if we've seen the bottom for every insurance company. Some of them didn't really make a whole lot of changes in 2012, so I have to assume that there's some pricing adjustments we'll see in 2013. Just because of what they've done and how aggressive they were last year. But I think for a lot of insurance companies, first of all, they didn't hit a lot of their goals in terms of how much sales they wanted to accomplish in 2012. So they might have a larger appetite for this year. But also, if we do see a slight steady rise in interest rates, whether it's the Treasury or the bond yields, we should see a subtle increase in rates and caps. And also, we'll probably stop seeing more reduction on commissions and maybe more an adjustment in terms of how the commissions are laid out. So you'll notice on some of the new products out there, there's a lot of trail options available versus that lump sum commission. I think that's some of the stuff we should expect in 2013. So watch for those caps to ease up. Watch for not commission reductions, but I think more commission modifications to come and new products.
And thinking about new products, we can't even give you a spreadsheet yet because we're still reconfiguring for the 2013, and here we are already in January, and we're still waiting for our carriers to come through. I don't know if they went on vacation or whatever, but we're still looking for those numbers. But my real thing that I wanted to bring up here is when we're looking at fixed rates, and I think last month we were somewhere around 2.9, somewhere in that vicinity.
Right.
Have we seen any movement up or down in fixed?
You know, it's pretty much steady right now for January. Athene, for example, we were just talking about them. They had one of the strongest rates in the 5-year and the 7-year multi-year guarantee market, and they're still holding at 275 on a 5-year. Or if you want the full liquidity, they're at 255. The only other companies that are really higher than that is we still have Sentinel, who's been around. They just came down in 15 basis points on the rate, but they're still at the top of the pile. Again, a product that's more of an a la carte. You need to add your liquidity, add your additional features. It costs down your interest rate, but we're still in and around the 2.5 to about 3 range if you're looking at a 5-year or a 7-year rate. Compare that to the CDs, compare that to the money markets. We're still very strong for those short-term guarantees. And
remember, if you want to call and say, hey, Steve, I need to see some of these spreadsheets, you just call us at 1-800-290-7226, extension 125. And you can always hop out to the website at www.brokersalliance.com and go and see the interest rates. I say, don't do it today, but it's going to be coming up here in about a week.
Right.
We're going to actually know what's going on, and you're going to see a brand new I think you're going to see a couple new players here.
Well, and I think, you know, something else that we're going to talk about again later on in an additional show that we'll be shooting is you're going to see insurance companies come up with more interesting index strategies. You know, this idea of an uncapped index or a combination of indexes that are uncapped is going to be more common. So I think we're going to see, again, less of the caps and more of these combination type options available for our clients for a new way to accumulate inside an annuity.
Well, we're talking, when I hear unrestricted caps, I mean, I have a lot of excitement, right? But they got to protect themselves. I'll be interested. When we come back from the break, I want to hear your take. All right, no caps, but how do they protect themselves? I mean, that to me is the problem. We come back from the break, we're going to address index annuity rates along with everything we're talking about and some of the caps and spreads and even some of the income riders for the new year. Hey, and don't forget to enroll in IULUniversity.com for the best training, education, and sales support when it comes to life insurance for retirement income.
You're listening to the insurance industry's #1 resource for products, planning ideas, carrier information, and interviews you can use. When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.
Did you know the average 401k runs out of money just 7 to 8 years into retirement? Time Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, and many other publications have warned of the difficulty of saving with a 401k. But what if there was a way to create tax-free lifetime retirement income with no stock market risk? Good news, there is.
You know, living in fear of the next market dive is not the way I want to live my life.
Why would I go out there and take on risk when I don't need to?
I have a lot less stress knowing I can't lose any more of my retirement savings in the stock market.
Call now to receive your free, no-obligation analysis of what this retirement vehicle could do for you, a comparison to your current retirement plan, and a free video that explains this exciting opportunity. Start planning a retirement you can enjoy instead of worrying about future tax increases and stock market losses. Creating income that will last your entire life is the most important thing you'll ever do. Take control of your future. Call now for your free analysis, comparison, and video.
Well, welcome back to the Business Insurance Zone. I'm Steve Savant with Eric Palmer. And remember, you can order today's giveaway at brokersalliance.com. And remember, think about this. We're giving away all this week our new AG38 GUL spreadsheets. Finally, the whole industry has calmed down. Right. And if you say, Steve, I want to know who the players are, believe you me, there's been major shift in the premium rankings on this. So if you just want to order, just say thebiz at brokersalliance.com. Steve, send me the AG38 GUL spreadsheets and I'll send it right out to you. And remember, before moving forward with anything we talk about, because once in a while we talk about taxes and so forth, always touch your tax advisor and consult with him first. And of course, if you're with a broker dealer and you're FINRA licensed, always make sure you talk to your compliance officer before using any of the information we talk about on the show. Well, we're talking about annuities, a brand new year, 2013. We're talking about these new uncapped 50%. I'm sorry, I've died, gone to heaven. If we're going to play in indexing, let's do it.
Right.
Uncapped 50% participation rate. I think that's top. That's probably the leading.
That's one of the leading ones, absolutely. Yeah. Quick mention for National Western. I mentioned in the first half there we have some uncapped or some new interesting type of index strategies. This is one of them. National Western has an option out there. They have a global look-back strategy. They have a couple different choices on what index, but again, a 50% participation on an uncapped strategy.
Wow.
If we are predicting a swing year, then that could be a good year for us to allocate into those uncapped strategies. But the idea that you have the 1 year reset on that product still, you can really start to trend the market and pay attention to what's going to work for your clients. So the uncaps are starting to become pretty popular. Also, something interesting to note is from Genworth, when their new index strategy, it's not uncapped, but what it actually allows you to do is roll over a rate for an additional year. So, for example, if you got a 275 basis point cap and you max that cap out in a given year, you can choose to roll that over for the next year and take a 3-time multiplier. So you can turn a 2.75% cap product into an 8% return on that type of a product. So very interesting. We're actually going to have a show specific for that strategy because it is going to be very popular here in 2013. But it's the opportunity for your client to maintain their annuity a little bit closer in order to get higher returns.
No, I think this is, just to make sure our viewers understand this, because I think this is kind of new, and remember, about almost 20% of our audience is consumer. I think this is a unique, and I mean really unique. If I'm sitting at 275, if I heard you correctly, well, I topped out at 275. Now I want to roll it over to next year. Now I get 3 times whatever that rate was.
Right.
And that's my new number, even though it's a cap. That's my new cap number.
Exactly, and there's some limitations to it. So I would definitely say, give us a call. Let's give you the specs on the rider. It's brand new. It takes some training, and there are some limitations on how many times the multiplying can happen. But the idea there is that you have that option. And so when we're averaging a 3% cap on an annual point-to-point in the S&P right now in the marketplace, most clients have nothing but that to take. So they're relying on the income rider or something else inside the annuity to be the focus. But here with this product, not only do you have those income riders and those options, but you have a true accumulation option, the true opportunity to give your client a solid 6, 7, 8% type of return.
Well, Eric, I just want to make sure I'm clear. When I'm looking at this, is the low interest rate environment, is this the new things that are being created in these laboratories down in the actuarial basement?
Yeah.
I mean, because this is really unique.
It is. The annuity marketplace has evolved extremely in the last 5 years. We've seen income riders become dominant, and then we've seen income riders change. Athene, that's a good segue, by the way. Athene's Benefit 10 product. It's a not just an income rider, but also has a death benefit, an ADL-based enhanced lifetime withdrawal, a confinement, a terminal illness, and a death benefit all combined into that income rider. So what you're getting is more than just an income-based product. You're getting an everything type product. What could happen to you? Income, long-term care, death. It's going to cover all bases.
It's covering all the living benefits?
All the living benefits
and what's their charge for that? I'm just kind of curious.
This is what's great. Now, they charge 140 basis points a year on the Benefit 10 product, but every 5 years they have what is called a true-up provision. So if the index performance inside the product itself doesn't cover the cost, the insurance company will give you a true-up, which means you can never actually dip below your original principal if you're not getting the rate of return in the product. So for example, 140 basis points, if I got a 0 for 5 straight years, then what Athene is going to do is they're actually going to true up my account value as if the fee was never there. So I wouldn't have actually taken a loss inside the contract. And that's what's really interesting. So those are the things that we're going to see. We're going to see these nuances about the way the riders are structured, the way they're potentially going to true up or shore up the contract, and we're also going to see these interesting index strategies that offer a new way to accumulate inside of an annuity in a low interest rate environment.
Well, I love that because I love all the perks of living benefits. I love the perks of income riders. 140 seems stiff, but if I don't make it or my account does not come through, I'm not going to have to. You called it true up.
A true up.
I'm sorry, is that an actual technical term of annuities?
Athene might have invented it. I don't know.
Okay, true up it is. Okay. Well, I also noticed, on your docket for 2013, you were talking a little bit about Forethought. I mean, they were a player with us last year, and they kind of have some lead issues. What are they doing?
Well, a couple of things. First and foremost is through the month of January 2013, they're extending their commission increase. So they are still paying very well in their contracts. But what I like about their contracts is they're very easy to understand. They have the Income 125. It's for your purest income play. If you know you're going to do an income strategy for a client, especially if it's going to be something triggered the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years, the 125 is great because it gives your client an immediate 25% bonus. Now, The opportunity with the 125 is that it also competes very well in the 60-year-old bracket against a SPIA. So if you're going to look at a single premium immediate annuity, look at a 125 as well at the same time. The income payout's going to be very close, but why not offer your client a little bit of liquidity and a backup plan? So the 125 is a product, again, a very strong company. Forethought's one of the best in the market today in terms of ratings and strength.
So the actual income is about the same. The only difference is I have liquidity on the income rider where I'm not going to have it when I go ahead and execute the immediate annuity.
Absolutely.
Well, these are all the things that are happening. I'm telling you, we're rolling out, in my view, I've been in this thing 30 years, these are all new ideas. Unbelievable creativity. Remember, you can watch this show and all our shows this week by clicking the red on-demand video button right on our homepage at brokersalliance.com. Well, that's the Buzz on the Biz for today. Get in the zone. The Business Insurance Zone.
You're listening to the insurance industry's #1 resource for products, planning ideas, carrier information, and interviews you can use. When it comes to life insurance, annuities, long-term care, disability, or group pension plans, we're the news you can use.